Joining us is the driver of the number 19 Peak Toyota, Daniel Suárez, and we'll go straight into questions.
You dual citizenship?
Not yet, almost.
Are you working on it?
Yeah, it's a long process. So
Can you talk a little bit about going through it since you're doing it the right way and you have people who can take you through step by step?
I think now that I'm living that process, I understand why a lot of people don't do it and do it the difficult way, because it's extremely expensive, extremely long. You know, a lot of people will imagine that for me, because obviously I'm here and I pay taxes and everything, it will be easier, but it's a pain in the butt to do it. And it's extremely expensive. I can guarantee a lot of people can pay for that, can afford it. Right now, I don't have the dual citizenship, but I just got approved for my residence, to be a resident here, which is almost the same thing. But this, like I said, it's a very long process. I think it took me like a year or year and a half, like a year to approve it, and now like 6 months I couldn't leave the country because I was in that process, and then they finally approved it, and and I haven't get it yet, but it's supposed to be in the last details of the process, but it's a very, very long process. I don't know if it's been like that forever or not, or honestly, I don't really know, but at least today, it is long and expensive.
Jerry.
Just want to follow up on that real quick. I have another question too. But when you say expensive, what type of numbers are you looking at to compare with what the numbers out there are for people that are coming here and spending money to do it not the right way as you are?
Well, you know, when you have a regular visa, you know, I had actually a very special visa. It was for the special talents, and this visa, the way it works, you have to do it every 3 years, but every year you have to renew it. So they give you the approve for 3 years, but every year you have to go to your hometown and get that and renew. That renew is not very expensive. It's maybe like $1,000, but the visa itself that you have to do it every 3 years, that's like five. And that you have to do that obviously every 3 years, 5 or 6. That's with most of the expenses, counting attorneys and everything, because you need that. But the green card or the resident, that's obviously more expensive and it's a longer process. And right now I'm maybe in the last steps of my green card. Like I said, it's been over a year. It's been close to a year and a half. And if I have to just a rough number, I guess I have had spent around 13, 14 grand, counting attorneys and everything that they have been helping me. I paid a little bit extra in a couple things to actually make it faster, but it wasn't a lot. It was maybe like $1,000 or $1,500, and even with that, it's been over a year. So it's just expensive. I don't think, you know, the average people that is coming to this country has just 10 grand to spend like that in a green card. I feel like it's a lot of money, but I don't know. I guess that's why a lot of people don't do it, because it's just too expensive and long process.
So, and for this track here, talk about coming into Chicago. What do you like about this track, and what are your expectations for the race?
Yeah, this place is a lot of fun. Actually, I was sucking yesterday. My first mile and a half ever came here in this place back in 2014, and I feel good about Chicago. You know, it's one of those places that you have a lot of options. You can race pretty much everywhere. You know, in the wall, in the bottom, you have a lot of options. So I really feel like that's something a lot of fun as a driver. And the best thing is that we have a fast car. So I feel good for today. Hopefully I can talk to you guys later this afternoon with a trophy.
Daniel, can you answer that in Spanish now as well?
I forgot the question.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Coming in this track. ¿Te gusta de Chicagoland Speedway?
Yeah, Chicago es una pista muy buena para mí. Recuerdo que esta pista hace algunos años, en el 2014, fue mi primer pista de milla y media en las categorías nacionales y desde ese entonces ha sido una buena pista para mí. Ha cambiado mucho, en 4 años ha cambiado mucho. Es una pista que ha perdido mucho agarre, mucho grip y tienes demasiadas opciones. Puedes correr en la parte de arriba, en medio, abajo. Tienes muchas opciones como piloto y eso siempre es algo bueno para poder tener una buena carrera. Entonces espero que tengamos un día positivo. El carro 18 Juniper Toyota Camry se vio muy bien ayer en velocidad, entonces esperemos poder mantener eso para el día de hoy y tener la oportunidad de hablar con todos ustedes esta tarde con un trofeo.
Brian?
Brian Eberly, Motorsports Tribune. Daniel, I'm not sure if you're up to speed on the NASCAR home tracks news this morning of the driver exchange between the Whelen Euro Series and the Penny Series. But coming up through the Peak Mexico Series like you did, what are your thoughts on what NASCAR is trying to do to promote the sport more internationally?
I think it's very good. You know, there is a lot of drivers out there. At least I'm obviously very connected with Mexico and Brazil and stuff like that. And I know that there is a lot of talent out there, and there is a lot of drivers and fans that they love NASCAR and they would like to get more involved in NASCAR or get a shot at it. But I'm sure that just like these countries that I know closely, there is a lot of more out there. So very happy that NASCAR is working hard to help this series and trying to bring more drivers to the U.S. eventually, because that's the goal. When you are living in Mexico, Brazil, Canada, and all these places, the final goal is to make it to the United States and race with the big guys. That's the goal, and that was my goal 5 years ago, and that's all I wanted to do, to come here. And then once you get here, you want a little bit more, and then eventually move to Cup. But the first change, the change of moving from a different country to here, is a difficult one. I lived that some years ago. So you need a lot of support and a lot of advice to make those changes. And obviously, you know, to have NASCAR involved would be awesome.
And you're obviously the prime example of kind of international success, especially in the Cup Series right now. But what sort of advice do you give to those other drivers that are trying to do the same thing as you are?
Well, I feel like actually I made a few mistakes when I was trying to move here because I didn't know anything and I was just trying to do it by myself and just trying to find opportunities by myself, which for me was the only option at the time. But once I got more involved with NASCAR and with better teams and with the diversity program and stuff like that, I feel like actually my career got a little bit more shape. Finally I was able to see something in my journey. Before that, I was just all over the place, and I didn't know. Being part of the NASCAR Next 9, that it was the first program that NASCAR got, now called NASCAR Next, already helped me a lot as well to talk to the media, to talk on interviews, and to show myself the right way. I feel like the best advice would be to get involved with NASCAR and to ask questions. I was never scared of asking questions and to get information and advice, and I feel like if they can do that, they will have high possibilities to make it.
Kicking the tires from over here. I have 2 questions. First off, if you're in today's Xfinity race, in what ways do you think that's going to help you prepare for tomorrow's Cup race?
Well, I haven't raced in Xfinity for a while. Actually, my last race in a mile and a half was Charlotte last year, which has been a long time. These cars have changed a lot since then. So I feel like it's going to be fun for sure. The tire is the same, and obviously the racetrack, the way that the racetrack is changing is similar. So it's always good to get some extra laps in a car that is close, to know how fast you move to the middle, how fast you move to the top, and stuff like that. So I think that and to have fun, that's the most important part. It's been a while since I've been in victory lane, so I'm very, very excited about today's race.
And then 10 races left until the playoffs right now. We're kind of in the chase to the playoffs, if you will. You're about 70 points out of the playoff grid. Do you still feel confident your team can get your way in on points, or do you start maybe shifting strategies and try to go for a win here in these final 10 races?
I don't really know, but we're going to make it. I can tell you that somehow. We're going to work very, very hard like we've been doing. It's a really shame that that in the last month we don't show the results that we deserve because the speed has been there. We have had the speed to finish in the top 10 every single race. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I just have to clean up maybe some of my staff and maybe a little bit of luck, that I don't believe in luck 100%, and we're going to be fine. I'm sure that maybe in a month we're going to be tracking in a different position.
Any more questions for Nate?
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. So just to follow up on that, does that mean you think you can win one of the next 10 races, or you think you can get there? Because I think you're 79 points out, so that would be making up 7 points a race. Do you think you can do it that way, or?
By points is very, very doable. I think if we have the speed to go out there and win a race, we're gonna take that risk and try to do it. But if we don't, if we have the speed to finish top 5, top 10, we're going to try to be consistent and play that way. Winning stage points and stuff like that. 70 points for 10 races is not a lot. It's very doable. But you have to play smart, and a lot of people sometimes freak out a little bit. I'm not one of those. I have to stay calm and do my thing, and we're going to be fine.
Anyone else have a question for Daniel? All right, Daniel, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.